You tell yourself it is just a bad habit. But maybe it is not really about pleasure. Maybe it is the only way your brain knows how to escape loneliness for 10 seconds. That is the part nobody sees. Not the screen, not the private moment, not the promise afterwards. The part nobody sees is the feeling right before it happens. A quiet room, the heavy chest, the phone glowing by your bed, the thought you do not want, the message that never came, the day that made you feel small. And then, almost without deciding, you reach for the fastest exit. For seconds, your mind gets quiet. The pressure drops. The emptiness has somewhere to go. Then it ends, and silence comes back heavier. In a moment, you will see why the emptiness after it may matter more than the urge before it. Because sometimes the real problem is what you are trying not to feel. Imagine someone named Noah. He is not falling apart in a visible way. He still goes to class. He still answers messages, sometimes. He laughs when people expect him to laugh. He says, "I'm fine," and nobody questions it. But at night, when the room becomes quiet, something changes. His mind replays the day. The awkward thing he said, the work he did not finish, the person who left him on red, the feeling that everyone else is moving while he is stuck. He is tired, but cannot sleep. So he scrolls. At first, he tells himself he is just checking something. Then one video becomes another. One image becomes another. One thought becomes familiar. And before he has fully admitted what he is doing, he is already inside the loop. This is where people misread themselves. They think the urge starts with desire, but sometimes the urge starts earlier, in a place that does not look like desire at all. It starts as stress. It starts as boredom. It starts as rejection. It starts as an ache in the chest that says, "I do not want to be here with myself right now." That is why it can feel so confusing. Before, it can feel like relief. After, it can feel like defeat. And that emotional whiplash is what keeps the shame alive. Noah knows this feeling well. The moment after, he looks at the dark screen and thinks, again? Not with anger. More like disappointment. Like he has broken a promise to a version of himself he keeps trying to become. He tells himself tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow he will have discipline. Tomorrow he will sleep early. Tomorrow he will stop using quick comfort. But tomorrow comes with another stressful day. Another empty evening. Another quiet room. And the brain remembers the shortcut. Here's the open loop most people never notice. The habit is not only training your body, it is training your emotional map. It teaches your brain where to go when loneliness appears. It teaches your brain what to do when stress rises. It teaches your brain that discomfort should be escaped. And the more you escape, the less practice you get at staying. Just staying long enough to ask, what is actually happening inside me? Because the urge is not always the enemy. Sometimes the urge is a messenger wearing the wrong mask. It might be saying, I feel unwanted. It might be saying, I am overwhelmed. It might be saying, I need comfort. It might be saying, I do not know how to relax. But because the message feels embarrassing, you never read it. You only try to delete it, and the message comes back louder. This is why shame does not fix the loop. Shame sounds powerful, but it usually makes the pattern stronger. Shame says, you are disgusting. Then you feel alone. Then you need relief. Then you go back to the same escape. Then shame says, see, I told you. That is not discipline. That is a cage. And if you have been living in that cage, you need to hear this carefully. Hating yourself is not the same as healing yourself. You can be responsible without being cruel. You can want change without turning your own mind into an enemy. You can admit a pattern is hurting you. This is the twist. The goal is not to become a person who never feels desire, never feels restless, never wants comfort, and never slips. The goal is to stop letting one escape become the only place your pain knows how to go. Because maybe the private habit is not the deepest issue. Maybe the deeper issue is that when you are lonely, you do not know who to call. When you are stressed, you do not know how to come down. When you feel rejected, you do not know how to hold yourself. And once you see that, the story changes. You are no longer just asking, how do I stop? You ask, what do I need before I reach that point? For Noah, the answer was not dramatic. It was not a perfect morning routine. It started with one small pause. One night, he reached for his phone and stopped. Not forever, not perfectly, just for 10 seconds. He asked himself, what am I trying to escape right now? The answer surprised him. It was not desire, loneliness. He did not need a screen as much as he needed to feel less abandoned. That one question did not fix everything, but it changed the direction. For the first time, he was looking at the wound underneath it. And that is where real control begins. Not in a huge promise, in one small interruption. When the urge appears, delay it by 10 minutes. Stand up, drink water, change rooms, put your phone across the room. Breathe slowly. Let your body know there is another way through the feeling. Your brain may protest. It may say, this will not help. It may say, just one more time. It may say, you already failed anyway. That is the lie of the loop. The loop wants you to believe one slip means the whole day is ruined, so you might as well disappear again. But change is not built by never slipping. Change is built by returning sooner. If you used to lose yourself for an hour, return in 40 minutes. If you used to return in shame, return with honesty. Instead of, what is wrong with me? Ask, what was I needing? That question is not weakness. It is awareness. And awareness is how the pattern loses power. You may still have hard nights. You may still feel the pull. You may still feel embarrassed. But the more you notice the moment before the habit, the more choice you create after it. The urge may knock, but you do not have to open the same door every time. Tonight, if you find yourself alone with the same feeling, try this gently. Do not make a lifetime promise. Make a 10-minute promise. Move your body. Leave the room. Write one sentence about what you are feeling. Text someone safe, if you can. And if you cannot, speak to yourself like someone you are trying to protect. Because the goal was never to hate the habit out of you. Maybe the goal was to finally hear the part of you that kept reaching for escape. And maybe, little by little, you can teach that part of you something new. That comfort does not have to disappear after 10 seconds. That loneliness can be named. That shame can be interrupted. That you can come back to yourself without destroying yourself first. If this made you feel less alone, stay with us. Empty but Aware is a quiet place for the feelings hidden behind I'm fine. You are not just fighting a habit. You are learning to come home to yourself.